Good evening. Tonight, we travel back to the year 1348, when Europe was gripped by one of the deadliest disasters in human history. This is not the story of kings or famous warriors. It is the story of an ordinary person, and a single morning that begins like any other. Imagine opening your eyes inside a small wooden house in a medieval village. The sun has barely risen. The air is cold, and the smell of smoke from last night's fire still lingers. Outside, the narrow dirt roads are unusually quiet. At first, nothing feels different. You fetch water from the village well, greet a few neighbors, and begin another ordinary day. But something is wrong. The baker's shop is closed. The blacksmith has not opened his workshop. A church bell rings slowly, far more often than usual. People begin whispering about a strange illness that has arrived from distant lands. They say entire families have disappeared. Some claim it came on merchant ships. Others believe it is a punishment from God. No one knows the truth. You try to ignore the rumors and continue your work, but by afternoon the fear has spread through every street. Doors remain shut. Markets are nearly empty. Parents keep their children indoors. Then you hear that someone living only a few houses away has suddenly become sick. The fever came without warning. Pain followed. Dark swellings appeared on the body, and within days, the person was gone. For the first time, you realize this danger is no longer a distant story. It is here, and no one knows who will be next. As night falls over the village, the church bell echoes once again to the cold air. Tomorrow may look like today, or tomorrow may change your life forever. The next morning begins before the sun has fully risen. The village is quieter than you have ever known. Usually, you would hear chickens calling, blacksmiths hammering iron, and farmers preparing their carts. But today, those familiar sounds are missing. Instead, there is silence, a heavy, uneasy silence. As you step outside, you notice that many doors remain closed. Windows that were once open are now covered with wooden shutters. People no longer stop to talk in the streets. If they see someone approaching, they quietly cross to the other side of the road. Fear has become part of everyday life. No one understands exactly how this illness spreads. Some believe the air itself has become poisoned. Others think strangers bring the disease from distant towns. Many people simply pray and hope their family will be spared. The village market, once full of voices and laughter, is nearly empty. Only a few merchants remain. Even they stand far apart, speaking softly, avoiding unnecessary contact. Food begins to grow scarce. With fewer farmers working the fields and fewer traders arriving from other towns, simple things like bread, vegetables, and grain become harder to find. You realize that the sickness is not only taking lives, it is changing life itself. Every evening, the church bell rings again, sometimes once, sometimes several times. Each ring reminds the village that another family is mourning. Children no longer play outside. Travelers avoid stopping here. Even the roads that once connected villages seem almost abandoned. You help your family gather firewood and store whatever food you can. No one knows how long this difficult time will last. The seasons continue to change. The wind still blows through the trees. The sun still rises every morning. Nature carries on as if nothing has happened. But for the people living here, everything has changed. That night, you sit quietly beside the fire. No one speaks very much. The warm light flickers across the wooden walls of your small home. Outside, another church bell echoes through the darkness. You close your eyes and hope that when morning comes, your family will still be together. Morning arrives once again. The sun rises over the village just as it always has, painting the rooftops with soft golden light. For a brief moment, everything looks peaceful. The birds still sing. The wind still moves through the trees. The fields still wait for someone to work them. But beneath that quiet beauty, the village is no longer the same. Many homes now stand empty. Wooden doors remain closed for days. The marketplace that once echoed with laughter has become almost silent. You walk slowly along the narrow dirt road, carrying a small basket of grain. Each step reminds you how much life has changed in only a few weeks. Neighbors who greeted one another every morning now speak from a distance. Some families have left the village, hoping the countryside will be safer. Others have chosen to stay because they have nowhere else to go. No one knows which choice is right. As the days pass, people begin helping one another in simple ways. One family shares bread with another. A farmer repairs his neighbor's fence without asking for payment. The village priest spends long hours comforting frightened families. Even in difficult times, kindness still survives. You begin spending more time at home. The evenings become quiet. Your family gathers around a small fire. Someone tells old stories. Someone mends worn clothing. Someone quietly thanks God for another peaceful day. These ordinary moments suddenly feel precious. You realize that happiness is not found in great adventures. Sometimes, it is simply hearing the voices of the people you love. Weeks slowly turn into months. The illness does not disappear overnight, but little by little, the fear becomes easier to carry. People cautiously return to the fields. A few market stalls reopen. Children begin stepping outside again, although their laughter is softer than before. Life is finding its way back, not because the world has forgotten, but because people have learned how valuable every ordinary day truly is. As the sun sets behind the hills, you stand quietly outside your wooden home. The cool evening air feels calm against your face. The church bell rings once. Only once. Tonight, that single sound feels different. It no longer speaks only of loss. It also reminds you that hope has survived. The village has changed forever. And so have you. You understand now that history is not only shaped by kings and battles. Sometimes, it is shaped by ordinary people who simply refuse to give up. You take one last look across the peaceful fields. Tomorrow will bring more work, more rebuilding, more hope, and perhaps a brighter future than anyone dared imagine. The years begin to pass. Slowly, very slowly, the village starts to breathe again. The roads that were once empty begin to welcome travelers once more. Farmers return to their fields, carefully planting seeds with the hope that this year's harvest will be kinder than the last. Children's laughter slowly returns to the village. It is quiet at first, then a little louder with each passing season. The sound reminds everyone that life, no matter how difficult, always finds a way to continue. You look around and notice many changes. Some houses remain empty. Some families never returned. The village will always carry the memory of those difficult years. But the people who survived have become stronger. They value simple meals. They appreciate peaceful evenings. They never take another sunrise for granted. Life is still hard. Winter still arrives every year. The fields still demand long hours of work. But something inside the people has changed. They have learned how precious an ordinary day can be. As the seasons pass, new generations are born. The children growing up now will hear stories about the great sickness from their parents and grandparents. To them, it will sound almost unbelievable. A story from another time. A reminder that history is filled with moments of hardship, but also moments of courage. Today, historians call the Black Death one of the deadliest pandemics in human history. It changed medieval Europe forever. It reshaped villages, towns, and entire kingdoms. Yet behind every historical fact was a real person, someone who woke up on an ordinary morning, worked in the fields, shared meals with family, dreamed of a better future, and simply hoped to live another day. As night falls one last time over the quiet medieval village, the church bell rings gently in the distance, not as a warning, not as a sign of fear, but as part of the peaceful rhythm of everyday life. The fire inside your small wooden home burns softly. Outside, the stars slowly appear above the dark countryside. A cool breeze moves through the trees. The world feels calm once again. You close your eyes, take one slow, peaceful breath, and allow yourself to drift into the silence of medieval Europe, leaving behind the fear, the uncertainty, and the long shadow of history. Thank you for traveling through the past with me tonight. Sleep well, and good night.